My name is Andrew Couturier. I'm a Senior Director at Birds Canada, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in to this talk concerning story maps as interactive tools for biodiversity conservation. Thanks first to my co-authors, Dr. Rob Butler and Dr. David Bradley. Birds Canada understands that Indigenous voices, knowledge, and ongoing work on the land and waters, in this case, are critical for wild birds to thrive in sustainable ecosystems. We support the needs, aspirations, and rights of Indigenous peoples to care for the land. Quick acknowledgement to my collaborators, partner organizations, funders, and also to the hundreds of citizen science contributors who have given their time and data to this project. So you're probably wondering what story maps are. They are a rich tool for combining maps, photos, video, and text content into a pleasing, easy to use user experience. The good thing about these story maps, the tool, is that you don't need to be a hardcore programmer to pull them together. They can substitute for a traditional website in many cases with far less hassle. They are developed and stored in the cloud, so you don't have to worry about any of the back-end infrastructure or the technology. It's kind of all there, and you just have to build the application. So I'm going to give you a very brief introduction to two such story maps that we've developed recently. The first one concerning the Salish Sea Marine Bird and Mammal Atlas, and the second concerning the key biodiversity areas of Canada. So the first one, Salish Sea, brings together a number of data sets all into one package so that we can visualize the importance of the Salish Sea region in Canadian waters to marine birds and mammals. The heart of this atlas is really the boat-based surveys that were started, about 15 years ago by my colleague and friend, Dr. Rob Butler. And I'll explain here. So each boat-based survey, you can see the 5 listed here on the side and the years that they were done. Each of these surveys involves a crew traveling in a boat along the, in this case, this black line here, where hopefully you can see my cursor here, following around, and the crew would count the birds and marine mammals seen on either side of the boat a certain distance away. That information would all be entered into a centralized database, which allows us to do some really cool maps. In this case, a kernel density map for glaucous winged gull. And you can see by the coloring here on the map, it's showing the low, medium, and high areas of density for this particular bird across all seasons in a year. We also have maps that go season by season for certain species, and we also combine species guilds together to do maps that represent a particular group of organisms, such as species at risk or some other aspect. Those are all available as part of the story map. You can look at those and download them and explore at your leisure. The other component of the Marine Atlas is the Coastal Waterbird Survey, which has been running for almost 25 years now. This is a land-based survey where volunteers travel along the coastline, recording the birds that they see. And again, with a 25-year data set, we can do some pretty cool things. In this case, we're showing the kernel density measure of grebes during the winter. And but there are other ways you can explore here. You can explore by different guilds or by species. You can look at mean abundance. You can look at mean density. So that's all available there to explore on your own. The second story map concerns the key biodiversity areas of Canada. This is an effort to identify the country's most important places for biodiversity. And so this is a very rich story map as well, containing graphs and maps and text descriptions of a couple of sites. And one of them is present within the Salish Sea, which is the Fraser River Estuary KBA. And for those of you who live in the area, this will be no news to you how important and impressive this area is. So far, we have identified 37 so-called KBA trigger species, and 32 of those are birds. But the example shown here is the Georgia Basin bog spider, which is a rather interesting example. And it's estimated that approximately 12% of the national population of this spider is found within this particular KBA. So it's pretty impressive. And again, this information is available for you to explore on the story maps. And that's the end of the talk. That's all the time we have. So I really encourage you to explore these 2 story maps at your leisure, and let us know how you like them, or if you have suggestions for improvement, please let me know. My email was at the beginning of the talk. Thank you very much.